Uno. Hello, hello, buenas. Hello, everyone. So glad to see everyone here today. Today we're here with Harold Rodriguez, who happens to be my brother. Hi, Harold. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Very excited for tonight. We're going to be discussing a great topic, something that's going to help a lot of people that has been requested. So I'm very excited for tonight.
Yeah, pretty excited. Today is a great day, and it's never too late to learn about crypto and about Bitcoin. A lot of people, they come up to us, they come up to me and ask me, what is Bitcoin? I know you work in that space, but not a lot of people uh, have that familiarity or knowledge about Bitcoin. So that's why we're here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Me as well. I've had a few friends reach out to me, and it excites me. I'm happy for people that are curious to know what is Bitcoin, this innovation. It is revolutionary to the financial system as we know it, and I know that those that are looking to get into crypto have probably heard or even invested already in Bitcoin. So this today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and the basics of it, the fundamentals. Why is it so valuable to us today?
Yeah, that is true. And Bitcoin 101, that's all what we're here for. And before we start, explaining what Bitcoin is, I think our audience, the people out there watching us, should know who we are, right? So, Harold, why don't you introduce a little bit about yourself and how you got into crypto, Bitcoin, and how you're involved in with CryptoMaster.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, so my name is Harold Rodriguez. I am from the Dominican Republic, and I've been in the crypto space for about 2 years now, maybe a little bit more. And I actually got into crypto because of my brother Jeral. I heard him talk about Ethereum a few years ago, when it was about $150. And yeah, and I did invest back then, and I sold it. I think I bought like about one Ethereum. I think I bought about $150 back then. I didn't know much. I wasn't disciplined. I didn't care much about it. Um, but yeah, and then I think I started getting more disciplined in the crypto market, learning how to trade and invest more around October or September last year. CryptoMaster came out, and I remember I took my brother's course, and it was amazing. It was probably the best base, the fundamental base for crypto. So that's where I started, and from there I just researched and then fell in love with crypto. And I have a few friends who did the same thing, and they right now it is their greatest investment. So I hope that those that are watching can grow to know crypto and have goals with crypto as well.
Yeah, thank you. That's amazing. Your journey in the crypto space, and now once you go crypto, you never go back,
Never
right?
go back.
So
Yeah.
that is true, and the same happened with me. I mean, I started in the crypto space almost 5 years ago. It's crazy.
Wow.
I was told by a friend when I was in university that I should look into Bitcoin. He asked me, "Have you heard of Bitcoin?" And I'm like, "What is that?" I didn't know anything about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, to say the least. So I started doing some research, and he introduced me to different wallets and platforms, and in that way, I was able to get familiar with the space and actually invest. Bitcoin at that point was at about $1,000, $1,000 of Bitcoin. and at that point I thought it was too much. But $1,000, it's crazy how much it has evolved. It was pretty new, and we're still new in the space, but there's space for growth. So after that, the investment I made back then, it's grown over 2,000%. So it's been a good investment, or I should say great in my
Mhm.
case. But the potential that this industry has in growing from a few millions of dollars, tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, to being a multi-trillion dollar industry has been uh, nothing short of amazing, because now it's evolved so fast and we're still young, in this area. So I believe that it's important to recognize that we're here, we're learning, and that's why we want to be the first in this space. So after that, I've been with CryptoMaster for over a year now, just helping people, educating, making sure that you identify the best opportunities in the market. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure you're subscribed so that you can get the latest videos and that we're going to launch and we're going to release very soon, so that you can stay in the loop and learn more about Bitcoin and about other cryptocurrencies and the best projects out there, and have a little bit of fun, right? So, yeah, make sure you subscribe and follow us on social media.
Mhm. Absolutely. So we can get started with Bitcoin. I think to understand Bitcoin, it's good to understand money. Money, and why do we need money? I liked a story about how, or the history, better said, of how money has evolved with time. Back then, we used to trade goods for goods. For example, you would trade two chickens for a cow, and so on and so forth. So we humans have had a way to exchange goods and services. Then it evolved into gold and silver. We used to keep gold. I think to this day we still keep gold at a lower rate, but there's people that still hold gold. And then the paper money was created by governments to regulate those exchanges as a tender for these services. So I offer a service, and I get paid or rewarded in paper money or fiat money. So that's as as the money has progressed, or the goods have progressed in that way in time. So why do I mention this? Because there were throughout time there always been an issue or a weakness to the economy, to the financial system. Maybe it's not accessible. It's too slow to process. It's not available. So at certain times, for example, today, if I want to make a transaction in the bank, I can only do it Monday through Friday until I don't know what time, maybe 6:30 p.m. The stock market only works the weekdays, certain times. So there were always certain weaknesses. Gold, you have to store it. You need space for it. It is scarce, but you need space for it. And while paper money it has an infinite supply, which causes inflation and things lose value. So we needed a solution for all these economic problems that were coming up, and that's where Bitcoin plays a big role, because Bitcoin was created with uh, without these weaknesses. It was created to overcome these weaknesses. It is accessible and available worldwide. It has a definite supply, so it is growing in value every day as more people demand it. Um, so that's where Bitcoin comes into place, and that's something that is amazing to me, that it came out by I don't know if it was about 10 years ago. So
Yeah, that is true. And when you said those things, I was just thinking about what has happened and how Bitcoin came to be. And it was in fact in 2008, someone named by the Satoshi Nakamoto, that was his nickname or name. Nobody knows who that person was, but he came up, or she, or that group came up with this code, which became Bitcoin, which was basically a system that didn't require any government or central banks to function, to exist, at that type of money, which was purely digital. A lot of people, as you were mentioning that, Harold, like over time, we see that different currencies over time have been centralized by the government, by central banks, federal reserves, because they want to control the issuance of the currency, how the currency is transferred, the commerce in general. And that has caused divisions, has caused problems over time. People now, especially with the depressions and now the Great Recession in 2008, 2009, partly Bitcoin was created because of those recessions, and because people lost, and we're losing trust in governments, in central banks, in central governments or entities that want to control the money, but sometimes they don't, or the majority of the time they don't make the right decisions so that people can store their value in the currency that they have, like the US dollar. So Bitcoin, that's why it came into being, right, into place, because it was a currency, a digital currency that was accessible. Like anyone around the world can own Bitcoin or other cryptos for that matter, and also they can exchange it, they can transact it, they can move it around the world at lower fees and very quickly, without a middleman, without that clearinghouse, central bank, like having to go through those hurdles to get to the final destination. So that's the beauty of Bitcoin, and then the cryptocurrencies that followed. Bitcoin is the most popular because it was the first. It was the first cryptocurrency that originated in 2008. But also the technology that came with Bitcoin is very revolutionary. Why? Because it was the first application of the blockchain. And we're going to talk about the blockchain today, but really the blockchain is where the soul, I guess, of Bitcoin. Kind of, the way I put it is that Bitcoin is like the fish, and then the water is the medium where the fish swim. Like that's kind of like the blockchain, which is basically a global database ledger where people can where transactions occur that are registered. They're recorded real time, and they can't be changed. So everyone in the community has a copy, or people who become validators, nodes in that community can check those balances. So it's very secure, and it's hard to tamper with Bitcoin because it's really, everything is so transparent, right, with the blockchain. So Bitcoin was created for that, for having electronic payments without a middleman. It's not like PayPal, like Google Pay or Apple Pay. They still use banks, like fiat money, fiat currency, which really doesn't have intrinsic value per se. Some people say, why my dollars, Bitcoin, why Bitcoin has value, and my dollars. But the dollar, when you think about it, is backed by the government, which they say that they promise that they will give that the value in return. But the value of the currency is really the value that people attach to that currency. The same with Bitcoin, and the same with other cryptocurrencies or digital currencies. The more they're used, the more they're exchanged, and the more people enter into this universe, let's say this market, this ecosystem, the more value it'll have.
Absolutely, absolutely. I wanted to add just a parenthesis. Anybody watching this live, if you have any questions at any point in time, feel free to leave them in the comments below or the chat, the live chat. We'll be happy to check them out and go through them as well. If you have any questions about Bitcoin, I know there's some people that are interested in getting into Bitcoin or crypto and don't know their way in. So feel free to ask us any question. So yeah, absolutely, Jeral. I like that you brought up the blockchain because cryptocurrency is decentralized, which means, as Jeral said, there's not a medium entity that regulates the currencies. Like the bank, for example, if the bank closes or shuts down or anything, you will lose all the money you have in the bank, and you won't be able to access that money. In a decentralized environment, especially now that it's becoming more mature and growing so much, it is let's say saved in every single node in the network, so that you have that assurity that value is there for you. If it doesn't matter what happened, you can have it there for you. And there are many ways to that Bitcoin in this case is kept. Bitcoin is kept either by a software or a platform that stores Bitcoin. We've probably heard a few like Binance, Coinbase, uHodler. Those are some platforms that store Bitcoin, or some physical wallets. We call them wallets, like ledgers, where you can store your Bitcoin, and as long as you have that physical device with you, that's where you store it. So it's very accessible, very easy to use. I wanted to go back to the blockchain for those that don't know what the blockchain is. As Jeral said, is the blockchain is a way of how transactions are processed. In this case, it's speaking about Bitcoin. There are miners in Bitcoin that solve a mathematical problem to solve those transactions or approve those transactions that are done. And once a certain amount of transactions are met or are done or approved, then they're put in a block, and that block is added to the blockchain. So that process repeats all the time. It repeats, and the miners or the people that solve that mathematical problem first, they are rewarded in Bitcoin, and that's how the system is kept alive. So every block in the blockchain every block that is approved is what makes the blockchain. And to change or update data on any block in the blockchain, you would have to go layer by layer down to that block in the blockchain. That's why it is so hard to, for example, hack or break the security of the blockchain. So a lot of people have questions about the security of Bitcoin, how risky it is, and it has its risks, but once I learned about crypto, I learned that it is riskier to have your money or your assets in the bank, and that's why the blockchain technology is so beautiful. It gives us that security in this space.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. That's the blockchain. And when you were saying those things, Harold, I thought about a transaction in the blockchain and the security that you mentioned, because the way that it is configured is that you in crypto, you are your own bank, right? control your money. You own your money. It's not owned by someone else. So what the blockchain does is organize all the transactions and is very secure because of the way it is distributed. Harold, you mentioned, and then we mentioned in the past, nodes. Maybe you don't know what a node is, but basically a node is someone in the blockchain that validates transactions. Is an entity, a computer, let's say, that is processing those transactions and adding them to blocks, and they have a full history of all the transactions. And he in that entity, that computer or mining rig, however you want to call it, it becomes a node that has the entire history of the blockchain, and they are then competing to resolve that algorithm, right? And then add a block to the blockchain. So this process is very competitive and very time consuming, and it's costly. So it wouldn't make sense for someone to just hijack the system, because it would be very, very costly, especially now that Bitcoin is distributed, that blockchain, those nodes, there are thousands, tens of thousands around the world working to maintain the network secure. The more people there are involved, the more secure it is, because of the distribution of power is more decentralized. So it's harder for a single point of failure in the system. So that's why we have blockchains, and many of the cryptocurrencies out there, the crypto assets in the market, they either have their own blockchains or they are built on top of other crypto blockchains, because that gives them that security, that stability, that decentralization that is part of the ethos of crypto, why it was created in the first place. You want it to be decentralized, distributed, and the system, that way it works the way it's supposed to be, and its permanence as well. As we said, it's the blockchain. You can look it up online and look at all the transactions and see that it's there, it's permanent, it doesn't change. It'll be really hard, costly, a lot of work performed to change anything in the blockchain. Another key aspect of Bitcoin is the transactions themselves. They don't have our identity, personal identity attached to them, which means that every transaction has a kind of like an address that you send it to. You have an address when you have a wallet, which the only way you can get crypto and Bitcoin is through a wallet. And Harold mentioned some exchanges out there. You can get crypto, like Harold mentioned, Binance or Coinbase. ShakePay is one as well, and there are others, Kraken, etc. But the point here is that the transactions themselves, they don't reveal much about the people that are making those transactions. So that's why people say that making transactions in crypto and Bitcoin is anonymous, or in a way secret, but it's pseudonymous, I should say, because doing some research, forensics, I should say, people can trace the transactions back to their owners or their wallets. But there's a little bit more security and anonymity, I should say, when making transactions with Bitcoin on the blockchain.
Absolutely. And that's where the name crypto comes from cryptography. So it keeps things secret, things safe. And it's another security feature of Bitcoin. There are other currencies that have different services, but Bitcoin itself is always compared to the digital gold. Why is it compared to gold? Because it is the currency in the digital world. It is what is exchanged in the crypto world. So that's why it is compared to gold, for those wondering. Um, there are two. I want to talk. There are two types of people that are involved in Bitcoin. I mentioned one which was miners. I did not explain it too much, but miners are individuals or groups of people that have very sophisticated um, pieces of computer processing power, and those processors are dedicated to mine Bitcoin. And there are also the second type of people that hold Bitcoin, which are the holders or the hodlers, which we call in the crypto space. And those are individuals like myself, like my brother. We don't mine Bitcoin. We just invest in it and keep them. So those are called the holders of Bitcoin. I just wanted to make that distinction between the types of people that invest in in Bitcoin. If you go into different currencies, for example, there's some currencies that are staked. There's people that are the stakers or people that approve transactions in different ways. So my brother and I talk about different types of approvals or different types of cryptocurrencies, how they work in different videos, and we'll talk about them probably in a later video. But I just want to focus on Bitcoin and the type of people that invest in it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that is great that you mentioned that because well, another thing I would like to add on to that, but what you said, Harold, is that in the community, some people also play the role of developers because they want to make sure that there aren't any bugs in the system and the code, make sure that everything is in order, transactions going well to prevent hacking. So there are developers working behind the scenes to make sure that the code, the blockchain itself, they're working the way they should work. So that is important. So we have the holders or hodlers and the as you mentioned and the miners in Bitcoin. And no, when you probably some of you that are watching this video, you've heard about mining before, and we've explained what mining is. Mining requires some equipment, right? As we mentioned, so that you can make those computations fast. They're it's very intensive and it's costly too because you need to buy a mining equipment and that can cost you in the thousands of dollars. But you don't have to. You can be a holder or hodler, an investor, a trader, and you can own crypto without being a miner. And in that way, you can invest and hold your cryptocurrencies so that you can make money, right? And make a profit overall. Obviously, this is not investment advice, but make sure you do your own research when you're trying to or wanting to invest and get to know the market because there are thousands, there are over 10,000, 11,000 cryptocurrencies out there. But Bitcoin is one of the safest bet I should say for crypto. Is the first one, is the more solid, the more stable in a way with the more following behind it. So that is very important. So that is mining, and sometimes with mining, and mining comes because of the way that the transactions, the mechanism works in Bitcoin. It's what's called the consensus mechanism. When there's a system decentralized, there isn't a central entity. So there has to be some sort of way for people in the community to come into an agreement. And that's why you have some consensus mechanisms. There are different types of consensus mechanisms, but the one we're talking about with mining in Bitcoin is called proof of work. And the proof of work is simply that the way it suggests is you need some work to make sure that you prove something. And in this case, you need work. You're converting electricity with your mining equipment to Bitcoin pretty much, because solving those algorithms at the end, when you make the right, the computer calculates it and gets it right after many iterations, then you or the group gets to put that block of transactions added to the blockchain, and people are rewarded with bitcoins. So there comes a reward with it, with that proof of work mechanism. So there's work that people do to make sure that the system is not compromised, it stays secure, that they have something, like they have skin in the game, so to speak, and then they're rewarded. And it's hard to get, like hard to verify that algorithm, not verify, but get the answer, I guess, to that algorithm at the end. But it's easy to validate that once someone has solved that mathematical puzzle, then other miners, other nodes in the blockchain, in Bitcoin's blockchain, then can verify that that node calculated correct that algorithm correctly, and they all validate that transaction, that block added to the blockchain, and then it stays on the blockchain permanently. So that's kind of like the process of a proof of work consensus mechanism. It's important to know.
Yeah, I want to say an interesting fact. A block is added to the blockchain approximately every 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes, approximately, there's a new block in the blockchain. That's how long it takes to mine Bitcoin. And mining becomes harder and harder as the network becomes more and more advanced, and it gets more complicated, because the how Bitcoin was made, it's made that it becomes tougher, so there's more competition in the market, and the rate of production slows down with time. For example, I don't know the exact amount, Jeral, maybe you can help me with this, but there's already over what, 70-80% of Bitcoin mined, maybe 90% already, and out there. Do
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's about that, and about that 80-90%.
Yeah, of Bitcoin out there already. And the last Bitcoin is supposed to be mined in the year 2140. So that's 120 years from now. And we already have 80-90% of Bitcoin already out there. So that 10-15% left is going to take 120 years to be processed and mined. So that's crazy to think about. And from here to then, obviously, technology always advances, and there's the value is going to grow because of it, the deflationary way of Bitcoin, opposed to the traditional financial system that we know that is inflationary, where there's more supply than there's demand in incredible way, and that makes the value of, for example, the dollar less and less every time. So before, you could afford probably your whole grocery shopping with $15, but today you need over $100 probably to buy your food for the week. While Bitcoin is the opposite. When Bitcoin started, you could probably buy a boobaloo or a gum with one Bitcoin, but today with one Bitcoin you can buy a car. So it's a 180 degrees turnaround to the financial system as we know it, and that's why it's becoming more and more popular today. But that doesn't mean we have to be emotional with the market and invest in Bitcoin. Which this part of today, we just wanted to end it with the part that I guess a lot of people wanted to listen, is investing in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a great project. It's probably one of the most revolutionary financial technologies ever created. But it doesn't mean that we have to jump right into the train. It's good to educate ourselves as you are doing right now, and to enter into Bitcoin smart, with the right way. Right now, it's a grandiose time in the cryptocurrency world, and it will be. We're happy that you're here, interested in learning more about Bitcoin. because it's a great time. I'm telling you, it's a great time to get in the market.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's I agree with you. It's a great time, and you touched on points that are very important because you have to remember that with fiat currency, fiat money, you are losing your purchasing power. With Bitcoin, you are earning, you're making more, you're retaining your purchasing power, and on top of that, earning or making a profit. Over time, Bitcoin's limit it has a limited supply, and that's why the more people are involved, the projection is that the more it'll grow in adoption, but also in value, Bitcoin itself. So yeah, investing in Bitcoin this is the first step. Getting familiar with it, what it is, as we've discussed today, and also doing your research. We're here at CryptoMaster. We love to help people make the right choices when it comes to investing in crypto. And that's why we have different services to help you choose which exchanges, how to make profit, what are the best opportunities, how to generate passive income with your crypto assets as well, so that over time you can live better, you have more choices in life, you can reach financial freedom. And as you can see in the description below, you're going to see we're going to have there the link to our website, cryptomasterjr.com. And there you can see our services. You can find some resources there that can help you too, that can help you start in your journey to invest in Bitcoin. Another resource that we want to share with you is called CoinMarketCap. And CoinMarketCap is like as a market aggregator. You can find there pretty much all or the majority of the cryptocurrencies in the market, and Bitcoin is on top because it's the most popular, the biggest, with the most money invested in it. And you can find, as you click on it, on different cryptos, you can find more information, detailed information about what they are, some of the research analysis, the price, some graphics as well, some charts, and websites, and especially reading their white paper or the documents for the projects. That's going to help you get familiar with all of them, and Bitcoin as well. I find CoinMarketCap a great resource for beginners that just want to start and get familiar with the market. And there you can also find different exchanges that offer crypto that you can buy crypto in, because you, with your fiat money, you need to get to an exchange, a Bitcoin exchange like Binance, let's say, to buy some Bitcoin with your fiat money, whether it be through a debit card, credit card, or a bank transfer. You can do it through there. They have a list of different exchanges, centralized and decentralized exchanges. And also, if you want a more personalized service or coaching in crypto, you can contact us as well, and you can join our community. The links for CoinMarketCap and our community is in our description below. So go ahead, join our community, and that way we can learn more together. And at the same time, you have in our description the Bitcoin website. You can go there, bitcoin.org, and you can find more resources and more help so that you can have an idea of what Bitcoin is and how it works. We're going to be doing these events more often. You can follow us, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. That's going to help us, get these materials and this content to more people that can benefit from this education. Because right now, that's the best way to go about this, about investing, and is learning. The first step is learning and educating ourselves. That's what we're doing. So I'm glad you're here today, tonight with us.
Absolutely. And don't forget, we are bilingual. So for those, we have events in Spanish as well. And for those of my friends that speak Spanish, we will have an event in Spanish speaking as well about Bitcoin. So we'll let you know in our social media when we're gonna have it and what time, so you don't miss it. I just wanted to say and invite you guys to take everything we say with a grain of salt. As Jeral said, doing your own research is very important. We are not. I'm not a financial professional, so I invite you guys to do your own research. Feel that this is something that you want to do, and keep learning. Never invest more than you're willing to lose, and don't buy when the market is in a hype, because that's when most people say, "Oh, I lost money." So just buy smart, and be disciplined. When you are in this space, you got to be disciplined. So I'm very excited for each one of you guys that are here with us today, that are watching this live stream, and for those that have never invested in their lives, to start investing in crypto. So yeah, thank you so much, Jeral, for having me here. I don't know if you wanted to add something else.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm just going to say those, please contact us using join our community. It's in the description below. If you have any more questions, we're going to make sure to get back to you. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. And yeah, have a good rest of your evening and your day. So thank you, Harold, for being here with me. Appreciate
Thank,
it.
thank you. Have a great evening, guys. Take care.
Wow.